this is Awakening. Ironically, right? Most people are going to wait till January 1st to have their awakening, but I think it's a great time to do it now, the deep breath before the plunge. Or if you're listening to this, later on YouTube or in the podcast format, maybe it's a good day for you to awaken today. So this is Awakening. And couple of quick thoughts that I jotted down before. This is cool. This is something that we saw, the sequel to a movie that we really loved called Knives Out. This is the sequel. I think it's called the Golden Onion, the Onion. Anyway, we just watched it last night, and one of the characters used this quote, and I thought it was awesome. I want to share it with you. It says, "It's a dangerous thing to mistake speaking without thought for speaking the truth." Isn't that a fun thing to take with you today? Just to check yourself, put that into perspective. Check yourself when you claim. You'll know because you're putting an exclamation point at the end of what you say. That's what you say. This is fact. This is truth. But at the same time, sometimes you can catch yourself unconsciously saying that, right? So it's a dangerous thing to mistake speaking without thought for speaking the truth. Isn't that cool? And then I just looked this up. In the spirit of the, mortality mentality and really, really understanding how important it is to live your life. I just looked this up and it says life expectancy. And I heard this on a reel and then I looked it up. Life expectancy, if you think about it, for all humans on average is about 78 years. So that means we live on average about 78 years. Follow me there. So the average age of retirement. So if we live 78 years and the average age of retirement is 67 years old. So here's what that means. That means in life, we start and spend about 50 years of our life working and then enjoy 11 years. So most people don't know that. Most people don't know that they spend like 85% of their life working. So you might want to consider what you do for a living and if it is actually living. Great morning, Kathy. Great morning, Deb. So think about that. That means that if we live 78 years and we retire at about 67, right? That means we spend 85% of our life working and we only actually enjoy 11. So make sure that you enjoy the ride. That's a good reminder. Don't be average. Oh, you can be average if you want, if average is your goal. So awakening. So you can never get rid of the wandering thoughts. You hear me talk all the time. Why do I talk so much about the thought thunderstorm and the wandering thoughts? Because if you can grasp this, and this is called awakening, if you can grasp this, you're going to be in charge. You'll become the dominant force of your life. It's a simple thing to do. However, until you actually do it and experience it, it could be very, very challenging. So you can never get rid of the wandering thoughts, feelings, and emotions and concepts that are flashing in that thunderstorm in your mind. You can't get rid of them, meaning your mind's going to do it no matter what. So the concept of awakening, I think it's something that a lot of people think they understand, but it's so much deeper and profound. So awakening is not about erasing the thunderstorm. Like when we awaken, in that moment, it doesn't mean that we're quieting down the thunderstorm. The thunderstorm is omnipresent. It's always there. You're always processing all these thoughts. It's about recognizing and identifying those thoughts, feelings, and emotions, recognizing and identifying them, yet no longer identifying yourself with them. Let me say that again. It's about recognizing and identifying them, saying, yes, I see you, right? But no longer identifying yourself with them. It's very similar to forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what somebody did to you is okay. It's about recognizing it and saying it no longer has power on me. I forgive you. I release it, right? So I like the Buddhist philosophy and concept of living. A lot of people don't know that Buddhism's not a religion, right? It's more of a philosophy, and it's a way of looking at life. I love the philosophy and concept that Buddhists use of living what's called the middle way. So not identifying yourself with the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions. That's one way you could live, is identifying yourself as them, but then also not pretending that they don't exist. Those are two extremes. So living the middle way is kind of living in the middle. So if we look at our minds like a tropical storm, which I very often do, um, of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, I like to live in what's called the eye of the storm. And we know that in the eye of the storm, everything's clear, but surrounding us, like when Moses parts the water and he's standing in the middle, right? It's just a shit show, right? But you're in the eye of the storm. So that's kind of like the middle way. So it begins, how do we do this? It begins with stepping into the role of the observer. This is a power move. Stepping into the role of the observer of the storm. So if you step into the role of the observer of the storm, right, that's the first step in separating it from you, all of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, right? Not necessarily having them become your identity. So stepping into the role of the observer of the storm and recognizing they are not your thoughts. This is an interesting thing to look at the thoughts in your brain or the feelings and consider the fact that they're not yours. They might just be your brain's. So that's the big separation right there. They are the thoughts of the sense-making wet piece of meat in your head that has an impossible task of making sense of a world that doesn't really make sense. That's how you separate yourself. You say, so the Buddhists say thinking. They say, but just by saying that, that just means, yeah, that's my brain thinking. I can't control it. Sometimes I like to laugh at my brain and say, Jesus, like there's this thing called the dark passenger, which is that thing that we do where we think like really messed up thoughts that we can't tell anybody, right? So I laugh at that, and I laugh at my thoughts sometimes. Like last night, I woke up in the middle of the night and all of a sudden I got this flush of concern and worry about something. And applying this stuff that I'm talking about right now, I was able to say, well, check that out. Look at what my brain's thinking. Isn't it crazy? So let it do its thing, like a kid that's fussing with its sister while shopping. It's just the way kids act, right? I used to get so upset with my kids when they would like wrestle and fight in like a grocery store or something like that. But that's just the way they are, just like your thoughts, right? Start anew today and move about the world with curiosity, exploring things as if for the first time as the new awakened you. Okay. Does that make sense? So love and appreciate you all. I truly hope that some of these things spark some interesting focus for the day. Remove the blindfolds from your programmed mind and unveil how much more control you have of the world than you think. So I wish you nothing but a blessed morning and a fantastic day. And, just identify the things you want more of and less of next year, and then just make it happen. Be foolishly optimistic that you are in control of this illusion. Love and appreciate you. Have an amazing day.